You might be consuming 3 widely used vitamin supplements daily, but are you aware that these could be gradually compromising your lower limbs and jeopardizing your independence? Although not every supplement proves beneficial, numerous elderly individuals believe that consuming additional vitamins will enhance their overall well-being. However, certain ones, especially for those exceeding 60 years, can prove clearly detrimental when consumed excessively or unnecessarily. These 3 particular vitamin compounds have the ability to compromise leg strength, damage muscle tissue, and increase the danger of fractures, tumbles, and even permanent mobility loss before it becomes too late. Let's examine which ones they are, why they represent a hazard, and what alternatives you should consider instead. First, the silent muscle compromiser, vitamin E, has been promoted as a miraculous supplement for numerous decades. Many elderly individuals consume it daily hoping it will help them maintain vitality. It gets praised for its alleged benefits to cardiovascular health, skin elasticity, and even anti-aging properties. However, the very supplement intended to extend life may be subtly depriving seniors, particularly those beyond 60 years, of their ability to live life completely. Unlike vitamin C or other water-soluble nutrients, vitamin E is fat-soluble, meaning it doesn't simply pass through the system. It accumulates progressively and gets stored in reserves within your liver and body's fatty tissues. When consumed excessively, particularly at levels exceeding 400 IU daily, which are common in over-the-counter supplements, it can begin interfering with vital body functions, especially those related to muscle strength and coordination. This process typically begins subtly. Slight difficulty lifting from a chair, turning quickly and feeling somewhat unsteady, perhaps slightly more fatigued than usual while crossing the grocery store. It's easy to attribute these issues to natural aging processes, but sometimes the underlying cause is much more dangerous and treatable. Excessive vitamin E has been shown to impair neuromuscular function and interfere with muscle metabolism. This interference can cause substantial leg strength loss for seniors, whose muscle mass is already gradually declining with age. You may eventually become dependent on a cane, walker, or worse, a wheelchair due to the progressive, nearly undetectable weakening of muscle supporting your knees and hips. But it doesn't stop there. Additionally, high vitamin E consumption can thin blood, which proves particularly dangerous for elderly individuals on blood-thinning medications. This increases chances of internal bleeding, bruising, and fall-related complications. Imagine the hazard of a simple stumble when your legs can no longer catch you in time, and your body becomes more susceptible to bleeding. The most disturbing aspect, these changes come without warning labels. They develop slowly and are often disguised as aging. Many well-intentioned elderly people continue taking their daily pill without realizing it may be subtly undermining their mobility foundation. This isn't about creating fear. The purpose is raising awareness. While the human body is resilient, it can become imbalanced. What benefits a 30-year-old might not benefit a 70-year-old, which is why supplementation needs careful consideration, not habitual consumption, especially as people age. It might be time to ask a difficult but important question: if you've been taking vitamin E without medical supervision, especially at higher doses, is this helping or harming me? And what other common supplements might be subtly impairing your strength and independence if one supposedly healthy vitamin can have such negative effects? Next, let's examine vitamin A. You might find it even more surprising. Second, the hidden cause of weakened bones and muscles is vitamin A. A silent threat lurks in plain view. These are identical vitamins that many elderly people depend on to maintain their immune systems, protect their skin, and preserve their vision. Vitamin A has long been considered essential for healthy aging, though it's often consumed without much thought, and it truly is in appropriate amounts. However, many older individuals are unaware that excessive vitamin A consumption, particularly over extended time frames, can subtly undermine health instead of promoting it. Our bodies process nutrition differently as we age. This reduces the margin for error. Our muscles no longer recover as effectively. Our bones become thinner and our organs slow down. Another fat-soluble vitamin that doesn't get flushed away through urine like water-soluble vitamins is vitamin A. Rather, it accumulates silently in soft tissues and liver, and it begins causing actual damage when levels become too elevated, which is surprisingly easy to achieve when consuming multivitamins, cod liver oil, or fortified foods. The impact of long-term vitamin A excess on bone density ranks among its most concerning consequences. Elevated vitamin A levels have been associated with accelerated bone loss, particularly in legs and hips. Research indicates that the most vulnerable are the very bones that enable us to move, balance, and remain independent. Even slight increases in fragility can transform an ordinary misstep into a life-changing fracture for elderly individuals with already delicate bones. However, the skeleton isn't the only danger source. Excessive vitamin A can also weaken muscles that provide legs with stability and strength. Many seniors experience fatigue in their hips or thighs, persistent aches, and growing weakness, making walking more challenging than it used to be. These symptoms are easy to dismiss. After all, fatigue and pain are often considered normal aging aspects. But what if age isn't the source? What if that exact supplement you take every morning thinking it protects you is the culprit? Even worse, vitamin A toxicity doesn't manifest in obvious ways. It doesn't shout, slowly it whispers. Perhaps you've noticed sitting more frequently. Stairs might seem steeper. Maybe you're creating excuses to stay home instead of risking a neighborhood walk. These changes, which may seem minor initially, reshape your life over time. They undermine your confidence, activity level, and independence. In reality, no vitamin should be consumed carelessly, especially by individuals who are 60, 70, or older. Our needs change over time, and if we're not careful, things that once nourished us can begin wearing us down. It's worth having a serious conversation with your physician if you consume vitamin A daily, particularly if you use it alongside other supplements or fortified foods. The cost of inaction could be far higher than you imagine. Furthermore, if the highly recommended vitamin A can silently weaken your bones and legs, what about vitamins supposed to provide energy and clarity? Perhaps the most unexpected of these is vitamin B6, which may be the warning you didn't see coming because of how it damages your legs and affects your nerves. Third, vitamin B6, your legs may become numb from the energy boost. It typically begins with a tingling sensation that comes and goes, sometimes only in toes initially, then it slowly ascends. Your steps become less certain. The feeling in your feet grows dull, and eventually your legs begin seeming foreign, as though they aren't entirely yours. Many elderly people attribute this disturbing sensation to aging, poor circulation, or even diabetes. But what if the cause isn't a disease at all? What if it's a vitamin you've been consistently taking to maintain mental sharpness, boost energy levels, or support brain function? Multivitamins, energy supplements, and brain health solutions frequently contain vitamin B6, which is well known for its role in metabolism and nervous system function. It's marketed as something that keeps elderly people active and focused. However, few people realize that vitamin B6 can become toxic over time when consumed in excessive amounts, particularly to nerves in legs and feet. Furthermore, the damage it causes doesn't simply disappear when you stop taking it. Vitamin B6 behaves differently from other water-soluble vitamins, which the body typically eliminates when consumed in excess. It begins interfering with your body's ability to send signals along nerves when consumed in high amounts, particularly above 100 mg daily, which is much more common in over-the-counter supplements than most people realize. Peripheral neuropathy, the resulting condition, is catastrophic for many older individuals. Vitamin B6 toxicity causes peripheral neuropathy that affects more than sensation, it alters balance, coordination, and movement. You might feel clumsy, as though your feet aren't landing correctly because of your fear of falling. You might stumble over nothing, become unconfident when descending stairs, or begin avoiding social situations completely. The terrible reality is that this damage may be irreversible. Sometimes nerves remain damaged long after stopping the vitamin, resulting in persistent weakness or numbness in legs. The emotional toll is equally high. We depend on our legs to carry us through life with dignity, not just to transport us from one location to another. Everything changes when that independence is threatened: the independence to enter your doctor's office without assistance, the joy of taking a park stroll, or the simple act of standing to prepare a meal. It can all be taken away due to a harmful but well-intentioned habit. Instead of providing energy, consuming too much B6 could remove your confidence, safety, and movement. This isn't a fringe or uncommon issue. It's becoming increasingly concerning for older individuals because they assume anything with a vitamin label must be safe. But the truth is that even vitamins require careful and intelligent handling. What provides life energy at one point might subtly destroy it at another. After examining these three hidden dangers, vitamins E, A, and B6, it's clear that the belief that more is always better poses a greater threat than the actual pill. However, this isn't where the story ends. Another significant factor may be weakening seniors' legs daily, not a vitamin, but a lifestyle habit that's equally common and twice as often overlooked. Next, let's discover it. Fourth, what does this mean for you? A list of vitamin warnings is considerably less personal than what this means to you as someone who has weathered periods of transition, overcome obstacles, and accumulated a lifetime of learning. It serves as a reminder that as our bodies and needs evolve over time, even the routines we depend on and habits we believe benefit us require reevaluation. Wanting to do what's best for your health isn't a weakness sign. Actually, you've probably come here because you want to remain strong, active, and independent. However, the reality is that some of the very supplements you consume regularly, possibly with your morning coffee or as part of an established routine, may be subtly compromising your balance, leg strength, and the independence you've fought for throughout your life. It's not always dramatic when leg strength begins declining initially. It could be unexpected hesitation before stepping off a curb, or extra effort needed to rise from a chair. You might be using elevators instead of stairs because your legs don't feel as stable as they once did, not because you're lazy. These adjustments gradually become part of your daily routine. You don't move as much. You avoid certain activities. You begin organizing your day around your limitations rather than your preferences. The body eventually adapts to weakness, inactivity, and caution. Muscles shrink. Bones become increasingly fragile. Additionally, the risks of fractures, falls, and losing independence increase. The most challenging aspect is that illness isn't necessarily causing these changes. They aren't necessarily caused by aging. They can sometimes result from decisions made with best intentions but without proper guidance. Nobody explained that excessive vitamin A could damage bones. Nobody told you that too much vitamin E could weaken your legs. Furthermore, nobody mentioned how consuming large amounts of vitamin B6 for energy could numb the nerves that enable walking. But you know now. Furthermore, that knowledge isn't a burden, it's a gift. You have some control over this. You're actually more in control than you realize. You can take a significant step in protecting your legs, your freedom, and your dignity by reviewing your supplements, asking the right questions of your doctor, and trusting the signals your body has been trying to send you. There's still time to make changes. It's always possible to make different choices. Strength, recovery, and sustaining you through coming years are all still possible with your body if you give it the care and attention it currently deserves. So take a moment, think, consider what you put into your body daily, because your actions today impact your future health. It determines the path you'll take tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, we have one more reality to confront. Inactivity and prolonged sitting are things we don't take seriously enough, but they can be much more harmful than taking incorrect vitamins. That silent habit permeating modern life may be hastening your decline more rapidly than any supplement ever could. Next, let's investigate that. Fifth, now what are you supposed to do? The next question is possibly the most crucial one. Now that you're aware of the reality, what should you do? What can you do to protect the life you've worked so hard to build, your strength, and your independence? The solution is found in something much more powerful than shame or fear, consciousness. The first step in any change is awareness. It's not about changing the past or retracting decisions you've made. It's about using your newfound understanding to make better choices today. Examining the supplements you're taking closely is the first and most urgent step, with purpose, not panic. You may have had that bottle on your kitchen counter or bathroom shelf for years. Now consider this: have I ever really wondered what's inside it? Have I examined the dosage or thought about whether I still need it? Labels claiming anti-aging, cognitive support, or heart health are easy to believe. However, your body is unique, so what suits one person might not suit you. Precision is crucial, particularly at this life stage. Excessive amounts of beneficial substances, particularly vitamins, can have subtle but lasting negative effects. Consulting a physician knowledgeable about aging complexities is the next step. Unfortunately, many seniors continue receiving general health advice from doctors not trained in geriatric care. You deserve better. You should have a discussion that considers your age, medications, diet, and lifestyle. Learn from your healthcare professional what your body actually requires and what it doesn't. Gaining better understanding of what's happening inside your body currently is equally important. Request a comprehensive nutrient panel that includes vitamin levels in addition to standard blood test numbers. Numbers are honest. If there's an imbalance, if your body is storing more than it should, or if your levels are too high, they'll tell you. Pursuing perfection isn't the point here. The goal is preventing damage before it becomes entrenched in ways that are more difficult to reverse. Above all, remember that your body prefers nourishment from food, not from pills. Try to meet your nutritional needs through real, whole foods whenever possible. Lean meats, whole grains, fresh vegetables, and healthy fats aren't just good choices, they're nature's best medicine. While supplements may have a role, careful nutrition and balanced lifestyle should always come first. Acting now isn't a fear display. It's a power statement. It indicates that you respect your health enough to care for it. It indicates that when change and clarity are possible, you won't accept mediocrity. You've traveled too far and lived too long to allow preventable mistakes to rob you of your freedom, security, or mobility. However, we still need to discuss one problem aspect, because there's another silent force working against your legs even if your vitamin balance is perfect, and most people do it without realizing it. Every day, your future may be more influenced by your sitting habits, movement patterns, and amount of time spent still than you ever realized. Let's examine it more closely. Sixth, a private message from another senior: you can only learn something from time. I've learned by living through over a century of change, love, sorrow, and resilience that disease isn't the biggest threat to our health as we age, assuming deterioration is unavoidable is what it is. I've watched friends surrender to weakness far too often, blaming it on aging without ever considering the unseen forces at play. I've seen strong, self-sufficient people gradually lose their independence, sometimes literally, due to something as small and unnoticed as a daily medication they believed was beneficial. I'm speaking to you today as someone who has been on your journey, not as a scientist or doctor, someone who has experienced the silent terror of waning strength, of trembling before a stairway, of wondering if one fall would be the end. I've survived it, and for that reason, I'm telling you this to awaken you rather than frighten you. You still have choices. You still possess power. Above all, you still have time to protect the most vital parts of your body, your freedom, your legs, and your balance. Everyone wants to live a long life. However, we should ask ourselves, how do we live strong ones? Pursuing every new supplement available or thinking that more is always better are not the answers. The secret is paying attention to your body, to subtle changes, and to wisdom that comes with growing older. It involves challenging habits that no longer serve us and having courage to change course when something doesn't feel right. I tell you this because I firmly believe that getting older doesn't equal becoming weaker. Even if we may be slower and have gray hair, our choices still matter. You haven't lost your health, you're still watching it unfold. The freedom you maintain tomorrow is the strength you defend today. Don't wait. Remember that you're still in control of your life, so pay close attention, make informed decisions, and move forward with confidence and steadiness. Growing older isn't a loss, it's a gateway to new strength that's more dependent on intelligence than speed. Nevertheless, despite all our experience, it's simple to ignore small things that gradually harm our health. Not all dangers are obvious. Some appear secretly as beneficial routines or well-intentioned behaviors. Furthermore, they often start with something as small as a vitamin taken out of trust rather than knowledge. However, you know now. You're aware that at this life point, your body needs more attention, not more medication, but more deliberate decision-making. You're aware that your leg strength, gait, and confidence aren't merely physical attributes. They're also emotional and closely linked to your sense of self-reliance and self-respect. When you begin losing them, you lose freedom as well as strength. You miss life's spontaneous pleasures, the neighborhood walk, the visit to your grandchildren, and peaceful fulfillment that comes from working independently. This isn't a lost story, though. It's a consciousness story. And awareness gives you power to change events' course. You must live with attentiveness, but you don't have to live in fear. Pay close attention to choices you're making. Think twice about your routine. Ask for guidance that honors your age, physical attributes, and past experiences. Above all, remember that you have the ability to change. You deserve a future where you walk steadily, where your body supports your spirit, and where the grace with which you face obstacles defines your years rather than their restrictions. This is your chance to regain control by doing what truly matters, not by doing more, because aging doesn't equal surrender. It involves being more intelligent, and applied wisdom might be the most potent remedy available. The purpose of these discussions is encouraging you to live life to the fullest and most genuine. I would be delighted to hear from you now. Think for a moment, then share one item you've learned that you want to apply in your own life on this journey of accepting these realities. Let's help one another. If this video was enjoyable to you, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to use 0 in your comment. Your opinions are very important to us. For more videos like these, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share our videos. I appreciate you watching and I hope you enjoy living your life as you see fit.